recent years, we've really seen storytelling with video games start to mature, and one of the developers leading the charge is Telltale Games. Recently, I spoke to their CEO and co-founder, Kevin Bruner. What made you make the decision to put this choice consequence in your games? Because it's such a big part of Telltale Games.
I think it's something we wanted to do for a long time, and when we started the company, we talked to a lot of different publishers and developers about wanting to do this kind of game, and nobody was really doing it, so we had to build a studio to do it. And I think we spent the first part of Telltale's life building that studio, and once that studio was built, then we got to explore all these crazy ideas that we wanted to, and that's, I think, where you're really seeing us blossoming now.
What is it?
You're not as bad as everyone says you are.
We look at what we do as playable stories, and we always start with the story first. We always start with the script, the characters, and the writing, and then we try to figure out how to role play into that and how we offer that to people. But we don't start with a game mechanic like shooting or driving. We really just start with what story we want to tell, and then how do we get you into that story.
Now, something your kids are really gonna like.
Thanks for warming them up for me, butthead.
I think one of the most interesting things as storytellers, as interactive storytellers, is we can learn who you are as the player. In some ways, our games are kind of like psychological profiles of you.
Get out!
When it says the game will remember that, it's something we're collecting, and then we try to tailor the content specifically to the person in front of us. So it's kind of like customized storytelling for each person. And I think that's where you get that feeling of like, wow, this game really speaks to me. It's because the game is trying to speak to you as an individual, not a mass audience. It's really trying to change itself to kind of wrap around what's important to you.
I want my parents to come home now.
I think that might be a little while,
I think the hardest thing is, since the games are small and generally we give you, 3 dialogue options at a time, those things have to matter a whole lot. I mean, we labor over those extensively. So it's when the content is kind of small and concentrated like an episode is, everything goes under a huge magnifying glass, which I think in general kind of makes the games more satisfying because there's not a lot of filler content or like running from one side of the world to the other side of the world, but it raises the stakes on how compelling each one of those things needs to be.
We need to get the tour car moving.
I don't understand.
Trust me on this one, please. Start the car.
All right, hang on.
We like serialized stuff because we're big fans of television, like Sopranos and kind of that reemergence of scripted drama.
You gotta be on your act.
So we built the studio from day one to do serialized television style games. And not only from a production and execution point of view, but from a design point of view, it's a different medium. I think it's just as hard to make an episode as it is to make a big epic game or to make a series. It's a different problem to solve.
Over the next 5 chapters, you will witness things that baffle you, horrify you, even disgust you.
So we work with a lot of different franchises, from Borderlands to Walking Dead to Fables with Wolf Among Us. And first, we always start as big fans of a franchise. There's always somebody, usually a lot of people in the studio, that are just crazy passionate about whatever we're working on. But then we try to start and build back up from that and say, okay, now what is really the essence of it?
Oh, hi. Didn't see you there. You probably know that a game like Borderlands doesn't just make itself. As a matter of fact, it's the combined effort of many talented individuals. Oh, hey, Steve. How are the kids?
I can't think of 2 games that'd be further apart, a Telltale game or a Borderlands game.
Yes.
How do you make a shooter work for a branching narrative game?
Well, that's the thing. People look at the Borderlands games and think of them as shooters. But when you sit down and you talk with Anthony and Matt and Randy and all the Gearbox guys, it's not a shooter universe. It's about as rich as Star Wars. I mean, they know every single detail. So being able to kind of crack that open, then it makes a lot of sense that we can give you moments that you might run by in the shooter version, but we can dwell on them and make them really interesting.
Trust Handsome Jack. You want every part of this insanity.
We're always kind of scared that we're pushing boundaries and are people going to still respond to it. We're pretty ambitious about what we think playable stories are. And since we're not shoehorning from one kind of medium into another, I think that makes our treatments really credible and really resonate with people. And you do that for a decade with a lot of talented people, and hopefully it starts to pay off. And I think that's what people are seeing now. We're getting a real kind of refined way of getting stories out there.
How will we know it's them?
We'll know.